What's up, YouTube? It's Max Clausen, and today, I am bringing you my Salamangreat deck profile. I know it's been a while, but I was low-key, secretly, waiting for Salamangreats to become a thing. I know you may think I'm lying, but who cares? Come at me. Three reasons of why I wanted to make this deck. One, SoulBurner is great. I love his character and design. Two, Salamangreats are a super powerful archetype, and a lot of people should look into them. Three, the structure deck comes with one of the best hand traps being Ash Blossoms, so people who are on budget cannot complain at all for not picking it up. But make sure your local Yu-Gi-Oh store, whatever, isn't overpricing it just because of the fact Ash Blossom in it. All structure decks should be no more than $10 or $11, guys. So if they try to buff that up to like 15 or something, just go like, nah. The structure decks are $11 to $10, sir. So I'm going to be showing you the main side and extra, as I always do. So let's jump into this. First off, starting with the monsters, we got 3 Lady Debug. She's a hand trap bait and one of your second best normal summon of the deck. When she's normal summon, you can add she's normal or special summon, you can add 1 level 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. If your opponent Veilers or Ashes this, then congrats, they've just wasted one of their hand traps on a monster that they shouldn't have. Next up for Salamangreats, you have 1 Jack Jaguar. His effect is that if he's in the graveyard and you control a Salamangreat Link monster, you can shuffle 1 Salamangreat monster from your graveyard back to your hand, and to your deck, and then special summon this card to a zone your Link monster points to. And if he attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. The only thing that's really important here is his recursion effect. And yes, extra deck monsters can be used for this effect as well. So if anyone tells you different, they don't know what they're talking about. Next is Salamangreat Falco. If this card is sent to the graveyard by any means, even if it's part of an overlay material, you can set 1 Salamangreat spell or trap card from your graveyard back to the field. And you can bounce 1 Salamangreat monster you control back to your hand, special summon this card from your graveyard while it's in there. So it's a pretty good monster that you can always get your resources back without having to worry. Salamangreat Foul. If this card, if a Salamangreat monster is normal or special summon, you can summon this card from your hand. And while it's in the graveyard, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your hand or face up from the field to the graveyard. Target 1 set card your opponent controls, set spell or trap. They cannot activate that card in response to this or for the rest of the turn. So if they have a face down card that's you're worried about, just activate his effect, just stop it all altogether. Next up for your best monster, 3 Salamangreat Gazelle. When this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard. But the best part is, if a Salamangreat monster leaves your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is pretty great. And the combo is if you link summon to a Salamangreat monster and link it away, you can activate Gazelle's effect to special summon itself. Then its effect will go off, but then you can chain Foul's effect to summon itself, so they can't even Ash Gazelle. So Foul is a great chain blocker combo with Gazelle. Next up, we have 3 Salamangreat Spinny, the partner in crime to Gazelle. Spinny's effect is he can send himself from the hand to the graveyard, target a monster you control, give it 500 attack points. And if it's in the grave and you control a Salamangreat monster other than itself, you can summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. But that's irrelevant since you're going to XC summon with it. And next 2 that I was playing at 3, but I decided to bump it down to 2, is Salamangreat Foxy. Foxy's effect is when he's normal summon, you can basically get a power duality effect and add 1 Salamangreat card. You excavate it and shuffle the rest back into the deck. And if he's in the graveyard, you can discard 1 Salamangreat card, special summon it, and then destroy 1 face-up spell or trap card on the field. So this can get over things like skill drain. They can only be 1. Spell fragrance, anything that's pretty problematic for you. Only reason I bumped it down to 2 is that if I face something like Thunder Dragons, I don't want to be stuck with 3 in the hand or 2 in the hand And then I can't even add cards in my hand because of Colossus or Titan or whoever it is. So that's it for the Salamangreat monsters. For the rest, we have the 3 Ash Blossoms. Yes, I know these are secret rare, but the commons come in a structure deck, so there shouldn't be a problem for any player to not have one. Good basic hand trap for any other deck that searches. 2 draw and lock birds, and because I don't have infinite impermanence, I don't like throwing my money away. Effect Veiler, just for that reason. Besides, infinite impermanence is getting its reprint soon, so if that reprint happens to be fairly decent in price, I will be picking it up and throwing it in this deck. I also don't have Phantasmal Dragon, whatever its name is, because that's also a pricey card, so unless that drops in price or it gets a reprint, yep, this deck is going to be like that. That's it for the monsters. The spells, you have your Rhoda and Forbidden Dress, I want to say, of the deck. Base Salamangreat Circle, you can, of course, as I said, add 1 Salamangreat card from your monster from your deck to your hand. And its other effect is you can target 1 Salamangreat link monster that was re-link summoned and make it unaffected by other monster effects this turn. Next up for the 3 elves, we have 3 Called by the Graves. Some people play this at 2, but I like it 3 because the thing about this deck is it is a combo based deck, so if any kind of hand traps your opponent uses, just say no. Plus, it's not just a once per turn, and it's just a great card to use in general. We have the double twin twisters, which I was running at 3, but I decided to cut it down to 2. I can always destroy other things with Foxy or bounce them back with Heat Leo's effect. But yeah, just 2 twin twisters for the back row hate. Next, we have 1 fusion of fire, which is your super polymerization of the deck. And it's always treated as a Salamangreat card, so you can send it with Gazelle's effect or search it out with any other monster effect. You can fusion summon 1 Salamangreat fusion monster using monsters from either side of the field or your hand as material. Next, we have the Foolish Burial to send your combos to the graveyard. The field spell Sanctuary, which is key to all Salamangreat plays. If they get rid of this, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. If they get rid of this, well then. But you can always protect it with the Link Monster Bay links. And we have the Monster Reborn and Soul Charge of the deck, Will of the Salamangreat. You can special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your hand and or graveyard. And its other effect is you can target 1 Salamangreat monster that was re-link summoned and send this to the grave, target that, and then special summon Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard in defense position up to the link rating. So you can get up to 2 or 3 of your Salamangreat monsters, which is pretty busted. That's it for the spells. Not too many, not too less. And for the traps, we have the best Salamangreat Roar. This is your Infernity Barrier, which you can search off and recur it as much as you want and please. Well, some people run it at 1, but I feel as if they get rid of it, or if I end up getting rid of it via its own effect, which is if you link summon a Salamangreat monster, you can set this back to the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. So that's the reason I have 2. But its effect, obviously Infernity Barrier negates spells, monsters, and trap effects. If you control a Salamangreat link monster, make sure you have that in mind. Next up, we have 2 Lost Wind, just because I like to have another way of monster negation and cut the monster's original attack points in half. We have Salamangreat Rage. You can destroy monsters or cards up your opponent controls up to the link rating of a Salamangreat you control that was re-link summoned. Or you can send 1 Salamangreat monster from your hand or face up on the field to the grave and then destroy 1 other card on the field, but you obviously is going to use the other effect. Next, we have the Solemn Warning and the Solemn Judgment. Just a 3rd Infernity Barrier, basically, and this is just to say no to any kind of summon your opponent does. Except for the main deck, all 40 cards. We'll get into the side, actually. Side deck is always up to however you see the meta changing, but this is what I choose right now. If I'll maybe change it later. 3 Pancrotrops, because It's the best monster. Cyber Dragon that can pop things. 2 Ghost Ogres that can be replaced. That can replace the effect Veilers, or this itself can be changed for a Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If you happen to face the mirror matchup, you can just dump it and hit Sunlight Wolf, and then Salamangreat. Your Salamangreat opponent just says, "Well, I scoop," because Sunlight Wolf is actually the key part of this entire deck. For stuff like Cosmos, Cyber Dragons, which can't hurt this deck. 2 system down, just pay 1,000, banish all machine monsters from both players' field and graveyard. The third Twin Twister, the 1 Super Poly, which you can use in the mirror matchup against Salamangreats and any other link-based deck. 3 red reboots, because you don't want to deal with your opponent's trap cards. If they happen to activate one, just activate this, pay half your life, negate. They can set whatever they want to, but it's okay because you're more than likely just supposed to go on to OTK them. And 3 goes in match. A lot of people like to use Rivalry of Warlords in the main deck or side deck, but you have so many different monsters like Cybers, Dinosaur, Spellcaster, Zombie, whatever. I don't really see that Rivalry is a good choice for this deck. I think Gozen is a lot much more versatile for this deck because a lot of your main things are fire. But if so, you can just like activate this and lock your opponent out of anything. Again, side deck is always up to changing. Use it as a reference if you like. And now for the extra deck, it's already in the work in progress, waiting for stuff to get here. But for right now, we have 2 Salamangreat Mr. Mirage Stalio, your only rank 3 XC monster. You can detach 1 overlay unit from this monster. Special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck that has no restrictions, so it's your MX Saber of the deck. And if it's used to summon a Salamangreat monster, is it only Link? If it's used for a link summon of a Salamangreat monster, you can compulse one of your opponent's monsters to back to the hand. That does target, however, which is sad. That would have been great if it didn't target. 1 Abyss Dweller just to stop Altergeist. Not really Altergeist, but any graveyard deck that relies on it. We run 2 Baylings. People run it at 3 most of the time, but if you play the game right and know how to reserve your cards, you only have to use 2 Baylinks. I mean, you can bump it up to 3 by taking out 1 Mirage Stalio, because you usually only just go into 1 Mirage Stalio anyway. Again, it's always able to change, but that's how I see it right now. So 2 Baylinks. When it's link summoned, you can add Sanctuary from your deck to your hand, and while it's in the graveyard, it's a Return of the Dragon Lords for all Salamangreat cards. Next up, for your ace monster of the deck, 2 Sunlight Wolf. This is basically how the deck gets a lot of its recursion plays back. This card is linked. If a monster is normal or special summoned to a zone this monster points to, you can add 1 of your fire monsters back to the graveyard, from the graveyard back to your hand. And if it's relink summoned using a monster of its same name, you can once per turn add 1 of your Salamangreat spell or trap cards back to your hand. So it can get back your Roar, your Rage, your Field Spell, your Salamangreat Will, Circle. All of those cards can just freely come back to you with no real cost. For other link 2, Underclock Taker, which helps with the OTK monster that we'll show later. But yeah, just target a monster your opponent controls and make its attack points, and lower its attack points would be the monster that this card points to. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, because it's a fire and you can discard something to pop a spell or trap card. And things that's co-linked to it can't be destroyed by battle. We have 2 Heat Leo. I know there's a rare version of this. I just have this common one, guys. Sorry. Heat Leo's effect is when this card is link summoned, you can spin 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls back to the deck. And if it's if this card was relink summoned using a monster of its same name, you can target 1 Salamangreat monster in your graveyard and 1 monster your opponent controls. Make that opponent's monster the attack points of the same Salamangreat monster you targeted. So you can use Baylinks to lower them or any other one. We have Borlo Dragon, just to out certain things that I can't really get over. The one problem with Salamangreats is The highest attack main monster is 2300, so Boil Load is there to help save the day. If he attacks something, you can take it. You can lower opponent's monster's attack points, which helps with Salamangreat's other ace monster. We have Boil Sword Dragon, which can help with the OTKs just as well by changing one of your Salamangreat monsters to defense position. And for the OTK monster himself, Violet Chimera. When this card is fusion summoned, you can make its attack points. You can make it gain attack points equal to half of the fusion materials used to summon it. And if this monster battles a monster whose original attack points are different than its own, whose original attack points are different, this card's attack points double. So this card can literally just OHKO an opponent, especially with cards like Heat Leo, Underclock Taker, and Boil Load. This card is just nuts. And if Violet Chimera was fusion summoned using this card as material, you can target one monster your opponent controls and make it 0. So that is it for my Salamangreat deck profile, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and follow me for more deck profiles. The next deck I am going to be currently working on is Blue Eyes Guard Dragon. That's going to be pretty wild, so hope you guys stick around for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.